just... Hi, everyone.
Guys.
We're back.
We're back. So we're going to wait a couple minutes before we get started, but it's the National Ask a Question Day for the National Consumer Protection Week. Beth Arlington, our inventory manager, Karina Violet, Director of Resort Partnerships, and this is Zach Weinkoff. Don't know your title, what is it?
Travel consultant. I've been with the company since 2013, taking phone calls for the most part, day in, day out, handling things with owners and other reps here with RTX.
Cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to give it a few minutes before we get started. We're also going to bring on Greg Christ. He is the CEO of Association of Vacation Owners. I'm going to scoot in a little bit just so we can see some of the questions that come through. What I might do is, rather than sit in this chair, I might just hang out right here so you guys can come in.
Okay.
So, so that way. Hey, Caroline, nice for you to join us. So, all right, so we've got Greg on, and Greg will be joining us as well. All right, so how does that work?
We'll put Zach right here.
So then I'll kind of get down like this. Okay. All right, great. This is really comfortable, guys. All right, so I think everybody can see well. We'll give it another minute. Posting some pictures. All right, Greg, you ready to join us? I'm going to add you. How do we do that again? Greg is watching. Bring Greg on the camera. Here we go. Oh, there's a small chair.
There's Greg. Hi there.
All right, so Greg is on covering the logo. So we're going to move the camera around.
Right here.
So, can you hear us okay? Greg, you with us? Okay, cool. So, what should we do? Can we move it this way? Nope, okay.
All right.
Sorry, we were just trying to get the placement of the logos in the background, but it's not working out too well. Unless we just do it that way. All right. Let's get over that one.
Greg's frozen.
Greg, are you with us? Greg? All right, well, it seems like we're having some difficulties from a Facebook Live standpoint, and Greg might be frozen, but there's a chance he'll come back in. Is it working? Can't really tell, but last week, if you joined us, we did a,
It was for National Be Heard.
National Be Heard Day.
Yeah,
So what we did is we presented a little bit on how RTX works, just some benefits. You heard from Ed Robertson. He was our team lead with the call center. You heard some neat ideas and ways to use RTX from Beth, and then just having Greg moderate some of the questions that came through. So we're going to go through some of the questions that came up in the presentation. So give me a second while I pull them up. And then after we go through these questions, we're hoping to just kind of get some questions from you guys, answer them as it is National Ask a Question Day. So we had a couple of different subjects. Hey, Greg, is it working again?
It's been working all the time for me.
Oh,
Well, it looked frozen.
Yeah, it looked frozen. Well, I mean, please, if you've got something to say to the audience, by all means. I've just been kind of talking, and I'm glad it works.
I think I might have just been expressionless at that moment.
Well, That's okay.
So I see some people are jumping on. That's great, and I actually am starting to see some questions, and it does look like the technical difficulties may have lifted. I understand you all got some really interesting weather up there. Was that unexpected?
You know, for the past week, they've been calling for snow, but we haven't gotten much of anything. But schools have been canceled. But we were thinking the same thing today, and what do you know? We got some snow. The weather was really dicey this morning, but we made it in, and the snow is now gone, and it's supposed to be 60 degrees tomorrow.
So let's see if technology will keep up with us, because weather aside, we've got some great stuff to cover today, and appreciate you letting us join you today. And it is International Ask a Question Day. And I just saw my friend Howard Nussbaum join us. Maybe he'll have a question for us. Howard is the CEO of the American Resort Development Association. I see some other industry people on as well. So they can actually probably help us answer some questions if we don't have the answers right away. But it's really interesting to have a live event. There's lots of things that we covered last week, and a number of different subject matter. Some of that had to do primarily with access to the product, and also how people access into the exchange area to get more benefits out of their ownership. So let's kind of kick it off. It looks like volume. How is volume coming out on your side? Is it okay?
It seems to be working on our end. Is it
Perfect.
Okay for the audience? I know it looks like Catherine Haynes mentioned that she couldn't hear us. So just want to make sure that everything's working properly in terms of our
Sure.
feed here. So, but if we don't see any comments, do you see anything on your end, Craig? Seems to be working.
And let me scroll up. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So last week, what a turnout. It was a full hour of questions and engagement, and I had a good time.
I had a good time.
It's Zach's first time, so we'll have to get him properly introduced to the Facebook Live presentation here. But we had a few questions that came up. We might have touched base on some of them, but in case we didn't, we just wanted to go over those. And there were a couple of different categories that I put them in. And it's mostly just about search requests and general usage. So I'll kind of breeze through those really quick, and then we'll just kind of take questions from who's watching, and then address any concerns or any questions or what have you. Beth, do you want to start with a couple of them, or?
Sure.
So we're going to start with the search requests. These came in during our live presentation. It's Robert Lydiite. Apologies for not. Robert, thank you for joining us.
And his question was, so should we deposit our points before we know if anything is available?
And then how long does it take for us to get an answer to a search request?
Yes. So as far as for those that are points members or
any deposits, really. I mean, I think we should try and make this as generalized as possible without points or weeks. So let's just.
So one of the benefits with our paid memberships, either the Premium Plus or their Premium level membership, is that you can go ahead and submit a search request for the vacation that you're looking for. Tell us where you want to go, how many people are traveling, and then you can wait until we call you with a match for the vacation that you're looking for before you have to deposit those deposits or the points. So that's actually a nice benefit to those membership levels.
The question after that was, how long does it take for us to get an answer to a search request? It depends. We'll constantly keep searching for you. If for some reason the inventory hasn't been released within 30 days, you'll get an email asking if you want to continue the search or modify the search. And at that point, you can just reply back to it, and then we'll extend it. Do you have any comments to add to that in terms of the search process?
Now, one of the major benefits of being a premium or premium plus member in general is that you don't have to give us your usage until we find you something for when and where you want to go. So you don't have to feel obligated, like with some other companies maybe, that you have to give us your usage prior to me telling you what is or is not available. So that's kind of how we like to be flexible with our members, and they can just give us something when we find them something for when and where they want to go. So that's one of the major benefits of being a premium or premium plus member with RTX.
Well, Zach, it's pretty interesting. If you go to RTX's Facebook, there's over 800 reviews now, I think it is. And most of the comments are about Ed, who you met last week, and Zach. Just positive reviews from our members on how they were able to help them. So bringing Zach into the fold, he's really able to provide us that one-on-one engagement that he has with the members. So some of the questions that we go through, he's going to be a really good resource for you all as well. And so that's all we had on search requests. Before we jump ships to the next category, are there any other questions that we may be able to answer on that particular subject? Do you see any coming through? Or
so, Karina, can we cover one subject that came back from last week? It was really at the end of the session. There seemed to be a lot of questions in regards to exchange for cruise travel, and there was some misconceptions as to which cruise line providers were supporting the program. Is it coming off choppy again?
No.
Okay, great.
You're good.
So Ed was in our last webinar, and we don't have him today, but maybe you or Beth can talk a little bit about some of the different cruise lines that folks can do an exchange into, and a little bit about that process if you could as well.
Yeah. Let me pull this up a little bit closer so you can see us. And I'm going to pull some stuff up on my end. But yeah, if Beth or Zach, if you guys want to talk about cruise exchanges really quick while I pull this information up.
Well, I know with the cruise lines, there's a variety of different options, and it changes on a regular basis based on the availability. But I know things that like Carnival, Norwegian, the Princess,
a lot of the major ones we offer.
Major ones, yeah. So,
so there's two options for cruises. You can either do the discounted cruises through us, at which you earn reward credits back, so those can be used to offset additional travel, or you can do cruise exchanges. So I'm pulling up the different cruises that we have now, so I'm just going to pan it over really quick here. But Zach, are there a lot of folks that take advantage of the cruises, or what are your experiences with booking those?
There are a good bit of members that use their usage for cruise exchanges. And you can choose to do it as a cruise exchange for a discount on your cruise using your usage, or you can just book it outright using our discounted travel program, and it does offer 110% guarantee. So a lot of members do take advantage of our cruise exchanges, or just booking the cruises without giving us their usage for a discount. And you know, like Beth was saying, there's Carnival, Princess, Royal Caribbean, a few other ones, at least 3 or 4 other ones, the major ones that we get into on a regular basis, and out of ports really all over the place, departing, and research using, you know, which weeks out of the month you want to go and things like that. And it'll pull up the prices of them and show you which cabins you can book using them and where the cabins are located on that cabin map. Mm-hmm. And then you can basically just filter the cheapest ones or the ones that suit your needs.
Greg, I just did a quick search, just for my knowledge, because I don't book a lot of the cruises.
Right.
I did Caribbean, all Fort Lauderdale, any date, and it pulled up Carnival, Celebrity, Costa Cruise Lines, Holland America Line, Princess Cruises, and Royal Caribbean. Mm-hmm. So that's just a pretty general search, but just to kind of give you an idea. And when I did that search, it came up with 681 cruise sailing dates. So all of those cruises, those can be used as either the discounted cruises or the cruise exchange. So
yeah, that's great.
That's definitely an option.
That's great. And thanks for that, Zach. I appreciate that. Hey guys, Linda Dunn just joined us, and
Hi, Linda.
she just asked a question. She says, explain how to utilize one-night hotel stays. I'm going to be traveling to Branson next month and would like to book 2 or 3 nights along the way. Is that something that last week we got into split weeks, but there's also an opportunity to just utilize the services of RTX without taking up a split week. Perhaps, as Linda it goes into utilizing 1 or maybe 2 or 3 nights. Who wants to take that? Who wants to take that question real quick?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean.
So yeah, if you give me a call, what I'm going to do is basically assess whether or not you'd like to use your points for a split week. If it's next month, there may be a chance I can do a split week exchange for you. But if you didn't want to use your points, or your week, you can let me know, and I'll pull up our hotel program, and we'll go over which ones we have available for that date. And I can filter things like start with lowest 3-star rating and go to price with the highest. And you don't have to book any number of nights specifically. The beauty of our hotel program is there's hotels pretty much everywhere, pretty much. And you can go as long as you want, 1 night or 10 nights, doesn't matter. And you can see pictures of our hotels on our site, and you can see how many bedrooms in the descriptions. It'll say how many it sleeps, what it offers. Some will have breakfast, some won't have breakfast, some will have free parking, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, absolutely, we can go over that with you over the phone and show you. I can actually guide you to exactly what I'll be looking at as well on the hotel program.
And if there's any additional resort fees or parking fees or any fees in general, we'll be sure to disclose that to you, and it'll be in all the confirmation letters as well. Because I know sometimes those fees seem to be hidden, so we try to be as open and transparent as possible. Because that's a deterring factor for me when I'm booking something. I need to make sure that I've got all the fees. I know what I'm budgeting for, so we try to do the same thing for our members as well.
Sure. Okay, well, thanks, guys. We've got Catherine Haynes that just joined us. She's interested in understanding a little bit about booking rules. Apparently, the rules will shift as we get closer to the date of travel. But she says, if I book a trip, do I get a 24-hour window to cancel with no penalty and a full refund? She wasn't specific. We've been moving around from cruises to different service providers that RTX would work with. So, Catherine, we may need a little bit more to that question, but I'll just go ahead and pose it right now. If we're talking about RTX and they're booking in with RTX, is there a 24-hour window to cancel? And if so, is there a penalty? Is there an impact on that? That's a question we do get a little bit.
It's a really good question, and it's kind of an open-ended answer, really, unfortunately, because there's different types of reservations that I can book for you. Mm-hmm. I can book exclusive week, which is non-refundable, which would be like a credit card expense, but there's also exchanges, which is a 24-hour window, and then there's a getaway, which is a 24-hour window as well, and the getaways are going to be using that's when you see the $7 a night on our website that you can book for an exchange or a getaway. Those are going to be 24-hour cancellation policies as well. But the exchanges have a little bit extended cancellation policy, and those actually we offer exchange protection on as well, which you can extend that cancellation policy further if you wanted to add that. And then some of the hotel bookings, which would be like a credit card expense or a cash expense, have their own different cancellation policies, but it's my responsibility to go over that with the owner over the phone, which is why I like it when people call in, because I can go over that, and that way they let me know that they understand it, depending on which type of reservation they're booking, so they don't call back confused if they did need to cancel for some reason. But for the most part, getaways and exchanges, what you see on the main RTX site right when you log in and you click on search destinations is going to be a 24-hour window there. For other types of vacations or bookings with RTX, you might want to call in and ask about it just to be clear. That's probably the best answer I have for that question.
Well, Zach, it looks like we've got some people that are appreciative of your response, and Linda Dunn said she's in North Carolina, and she's going to be calling you specifically next week to ask you some additional questions. So that's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. Oh, cool. I see Tim Guy joined us. There's a member. And hello, Linda. Hello, Helen Foster from the UK. Wow, that's wonderful. Nice. So last week, Karina, we were looking at people joining us from various points in the United States, but it looks like we have gone international because today is International Ask a Question Day. So lots of different questions coming in, and some of these questions I'm actually diverting via email to you because they're lengthy, and there's just no way that we'll be able to address some of those. But I did want to make sure that on the webcast that don't ignore those and identify those, that you'll be getting a personalized response from Zach or Beth or one of the RTX team members. Of course, we get emails here and we'll respond to some of those as well if they're not exchange or use related. But I find that these webinars have just been extremely powerful in being able to answer some unique questions that come up that you just don't want to thumb through and look for the rules and regs. It's just easier to pick up the phone and call somebody like Ed or Zach. But in a forum like this, I mean, it's really an open forum that a lot of people get information out of. They sometimes have that same question burning on their mind and they just don't ask it. So keep those great questions coming in as we're starting to read them.
You know, and the more that we do these Facebook Live presentations, we're starting to explore other ways to, you know, get in front of our members. And Beth and I, we were just talking this morning about what else could we do. And we thought about bringing on GMs of resorts, doing resort tours, showing our members what they could potentially stay at, or inviting, you know, somebody from within the association or within different associations, or, you know, our partners up at the Canadian Vacation Owners Association, or just different ways that we can keep this going, because it is a powerful tool, like you said, and we've got a ton of feedback from it. So why not use that as a training tool for our representatives, a training and educational tool for our members? So we're definitely exploring different ways, and we hope to continue this, you know, whether it's a bi-weekly or monthly thing, but keep your eyes posted for some new announcements. We've got some pretty ideas curating. But yeah, is there anything else that, let me see, I can't tell if any, my Facebook feed isn't in live time as far as the questions go. So Greg, you'll have to help me out with that.
Sure. So here's a question that just came in, and it said, do all of your units come with full-size kitchens and utilities? Because I have 3 small children and I need access to those amenities.
So with the various resorts, units can vary within the same resort. Whether you're booking, you know, a small studio unit, it might just have a partial kitchen, and maybe the larger units have a 1-bedroom. So it varies from resort to resort. So what we try to do is to make sure when we have things listed on our site, we always try to indicate if it is a partial kitchen as opposed to a full, those types of things, so that you know what you are booking. But also, if you do partake in the search request option, when our exchange concierge to make sure that you're fully aware of any, you know, amenities. They can tell you whether it's a partial kitchen or a full kitchen, or also, you know, if the bedrooms have a queen size bed or a king size bed. So all of those details we want to make sure that you're aware of, and we're able to do that.
It's huge. It's huge. You know, you guys know that my family and I have owned timeshare for decades now, and we often travel with family. And, you know, a one-bedroom studio unit for a family just isn't a whole lot of fun. The pull-out couch and whatnot. So being able to upgrade, getting into a two-bedroom or perhaps even a three-bedroom lets everyone have, you know, plenty of private space. There's certainly the public space, but you know, I think it goes back to the last question that we just had, Beth. When you have a lot of family members you're traveling with, you know, over a 7 day period of time, if you multiply that times 3 meals, you know, you're looking at a significant amount of cost. I'm simply not suggesting you cook every meal inside, but breakfast is a great way to start the day. We always try to do breakfast together before we start out on our day, whether we're going to the theme parks or going to the beach or just depending on where we're at and what we're doing. But being able to have access to set up ready-made meals and snacks and things that can really cut into the travel budget. And I think that's one of the things regarding timeshare and the ability to exchange and then book up into a larger unit, offer tremendous flexibility that I don't see on sites like Expedia or Travelocity. And I don't know, you know, the levels of inventory that are always available, but my gosh, I always take advantage of that option in the screen selection. And if it's available, it's usually a nominal upgrade fee. Do you want to go into a little bit about what that might look like for a larger or extended family or something like that? Zach, is that one I can throw to you?
So if they wanted to upgrade to a larger unit to accommodate more, I mean, it's an option for sure.
Okay.
Sometimes, I mean, it's at an additional cost, of course, like you said, whether it's on exchange or whether it's for a cash price. But something else that we do to make sure that members are updated with what's in the unit after the time of booking, we'll send an email confirmation with a profile sheet that details, you know, distance to the airport, distance to the beach, restaurants in the area, ceiling fan, AC, this and that, and if there's any additional fees as well. I mean, but anytime you need to upgrade to a larger unit, I mean, I would always recommend giving us a call, and then we can always check availability for you. Zach can always recommend, you know, other ways. If somebody does call in, Zach, how do you handle that call?
Okay, I think I understand the question. So there is a unit size upgrade feature that we do have with our Premium Plus membership. That if you were to book a one-bedroom, if you were to do an exchange using a one-bedroom deposit, and you needed a larger unit, you needed a two-bedroom because your family has 6 in it, and you only got a unit that sleeps 4, you can call me and we can check availability for you. And if we have a larger unit in that same resort on our website for that date, we can just move you into it, like from a one-bedroom to a two-bedroom without any extra fee. That is one way to get a larger unit from booking a smaller deposit or usage, I suppose. But with the hotel program, it would actually list like 2-bedroom unit and what the description would be. And then in most of the resorts that I do offer through the exchanges or getaways, I have descriptions, or I've even been to a lot of these places, and I can tell you if it's a 1-bedroom and you've got 5 people going, 3 kids, 2 adults, and I can tell you that it's probably not going to fit all those people comfortably, and we can see what we can do by getting into a 2-bedroom unit at that resort instead, either through I can book a 1-bedroom for you, and we can submit a custom search for a 2-bedroom. That way you know you have a vacation for those dates, and we can find you a larger unit and call you and email you through our search process, and then we can just move you into the larger unit. That way you've locked in a vacation. It might not be your ideal one, but we can also find you a better one. That way you kind of have something to fall back on there, just so you could rest assured that you do have a vacation.
Sure.
I hope I answered that question adequately there.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that, Zach. Wow, Ian Goddard just joined us from the UK. Hello, Ian. Hope you're doing well. And June Ryan, I just saw that you got kicked off, but it looks like you're coming back on. So hopefully you've got some good questions. David Brown, I see Marty. Yeah, we're getting some people coming in, guys. Last week we talked about some credits, and we didn't get into a lot of detail. Can we talk about the RTX credits program and how those can be used for upgrade or flexible travel?
Anybody?
Reward credits?
So the reward credits, yes.
Right.
So you obtain the reward credits. Like a lot of people do tend to get these confused with points, but the reward credits are different. So it's kind of like, I think of it as frequent flyer miles. So the more hotels, car rentals, cruises you book with me, the more credits you're going to obtain by doing so. And you can book hotels, car rentals, etc. for family members and friends as well, so they can utilize the membership and get more credits. So then you can use these credits eventually to get a discount on a future hotel, car rental, or cruise. And the way you do that, and I can show you the way to do this as well, walk you through it, is we go to the hotel program and we'll click on search hotels, and then it'll say book using reward credits or cash. And I like to just show people first how many reward credits it'll cost, and then show them the cash equivalent. That way they know exactly how much they're going to be saving by using those credits that they've obtained. And we can do it that way. And then if you don't have enough credits already accumulated to pay for the cover the cost of the whole trip, then you just pay the rest in credit card, basically. But they just accumulate over time, and you can use them for a discount in the future, car rental, cruise, or other type of booking that we can do for you there through the hotel program.
Zach, I'm going to flip the camera around really quick just so you all can see. Hold on one second. Come out.
We're going to see the support team in the background. Okay. Oh, we're going to see the actual website. Okay, cool.
Do you see who that? Hey, say hey, Sarah. That's Sarah Little. She's our senior director of Resort Hospitality Solutions. She's just kind of sitting in there. But just to give you an example of the hotels. So, I mean, generally you're going to get most of the discounts from the larger cities. So I just did a quick search for Atlanta. And so I did, where's the date? May 17th through the 21st. So it says public price $1,301. You would expect to see that price from Expedia or Booking.com. And then you see that you're saving 49% with being an RTX member. So in addition to saving the savings from that public price, you go to select the room. And then what happens, it's going to populate or generate about 5 different room types. And then you'll see, well, this one you see one room, but you'll see the average total savings, how much you're going to pay, plus you'll see what you get back in reward credits. So those accumulate over time. And I mean, I use this feature a good bit when I travel, and I've actually redeemed a good set of reward credits for Best Buy gift cards. So in addition to discounted hotel stays and things like that, you can redeem it for gift cards. And I've done it twice, and I'm almost to my third one, and I use it all the time. So yeah, so that's a way to enhance those savings. So you get the savings, you get the reward credits, apply those reward credits to your next gift cards or things like that. So.
Excellent.
Hopefully that answered your question on that. Unless we need further explanation, I mean, I can do other searches to see what other types of discounts that you get. Whatever you guys think. Greg, do you have any searches you want to look at, or do you want to see anything from a website standpoint that I can show you?
So, it strikes me that last week we had some people talking about the West Coast. I heard Tahoe, I heard Whistler, and I heard Vegas. Maybe pick one of those 3 just randomly. Vegas seems to be a great location, especially for couples. Over the last few years, it's become a little bit more family friendly. We might be going back to the couples side again, but what type of inventory would be available if I was looking for, just a normal one-bedroom unit? Because that looks like most of what the inventory is out there, with the exception of a few resorts.
So this
here we go.
this is
Here we go.
yeah. So I just did a search. 197 hotels found in Las Vegas, June 16th through June 19th. 51% off, 48% off, 47% off.
Perfect.
You look at the average, $100 a night. Public price $666, saving yourself $336. So it'll sort based off of the high savings. But then you look, and then like I said, it'll break it down to the different types of rooms, the savings, how much it costs, and then what you get back in reward credits.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
And like I said, I mean, me, a lot of our colleagues, we use this from when it comes to booking our travel, because we go to a lot of conferences, that, Greg, and
Yep.
a lot of the times these discounts are greater than what you might see with a room block that you get with a conference. So all of all of these benefits are available to our paid members, and it's just another benefit that you have in addition to the exchange piece. It's just access to the discounted hotels, discounted cruises, cars. They've got weekly stays. This is where the lifestyle stuff, where I was talking about doing gift cards, restaurant savings, shopping rewards, wine clubs. So all of this is available to our paid members.
Yeah, very cool. No, I think one of the best kept secrets, Karina, is that we do have the ability to show our members some really interesting extended discounts that are not available to the public. This is inventory that has been earmarked for our members, and it's amazing when you look at that. 51% off. I've stayed at Mandalay Bay. I could never get a room for $100. So, and that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Hey guys, by the way, we're getting some reports. Obviously, the weather is creating an issue with the internet. Unfortunately, we're still hearing a little bit of cracking and popping. It's unfortunate. Sorry, Catherine, Linda, Tom, John, Ian. Everybody has kind of made a couple little comments just recently. It's going in and out, guys. Sorry, this is technology for us, and the weather is not being helpful today. But hopefully, you'll stick with us. Just saw Andrew Thomas join. Andrew is a police officer. He's a member of AVO. He has a large family, and I can tell you that we actually met them on an exchange when we were in the Bahamas. I got to tell you, his wife works in the school system. This is a great example. Difficult times to get flexible travel, especially when you're traveling with a large family. So maybe we can talk a little bit about windows in terms of what's the best time for you all when a member calls in, decides to just call someone like Ed or Zach or one of the members on your team. What's really the lead time that you'd like to see in terms of being able to get some really good feedback on both location and price? I mean, if we're looking at upgrades and whatnot, I think Andrew might want to be looking at that. He loves the Bahamas. I know that from spending a lot of time with him down there. So, and we love getting to know our members and sharing some of their stories. And I can recall that one specifically that, time is a really tough issue between him and his wife to coordinate with the kids. So, Zach, if you can move a little closer to the microphone, Zach, what do you think the best time to call in? How much uptime do you need? 60, 90 days? Or is it still available that if they had an opportunity to break away in 30 days or less, could you help them find something?
30 days or less? Yeah, absolutely. Just so the ideal would be, of course, a year ahead of time. But I know not everybody's going to have a year ahead of time. They can't call off work a year ahead of time. But in timeshare exchange, it does benefit you to, the more the better, of course. That way I'm able to see what you want, get a firm grasp of what your needs are as far as how many you have to accommodate and what you're looking for. And the more time that we have, the more available units there's going to be. So, if I'm checking in January for September or October in the Tennessee mountains, there's going to be a lot more available units for me to pick and choose from that I can find for you, instead of waiting until maybe like August, when a lot of the timeshare exchange might be already taken, or a good bit of it, and you might not be able to find the exact thing you're looking for. But it really depends on which season. Are you looking for an off-season vacation, or is it going to be a July at the beach? Basically more than 30 days is ideal. But if you do have somewhere like 6 months ahead of time, or 3 months, 9 months ahead of time, that's great. But at least 30 days. But if you can't give me 30 days, then we also are able to find you stuff as well through. Maybe I can scrounge something up for you if it's less than 30 days and see what we can do for you. But we do book things within 30 days, of course. If it's a week or two away, there might be something that I can find for you as well, for like a 18 or a last minute exchange or a last minute getaway. But
that's super.
To kind of piggyback off of that, hey guys, to piggyback off of that, last week we talked about last minute deposits. So, I mean, we take the last minute deposits between, 14 days to 44 days. So a lot of times those last minute deposits come in, those are desirable locations. And then there's an opportunity, to travel within 30 days. Because a lot of times, we just, as soon as we get those deposits in, they go immediately to our site. Because a lot of people can't travel, or, sometimes life happens, they can't travel. They deposit their last minute week, and then there's a last minute vacation. So I think it's important to be flexible. I think it's important to keep an open mind about the different locations. Hear Zach out and hear his team out in terms of recommendations. If you're stuck on Daytona Beach, maybe consider New Smyrna, maybe consider Cocoa Beach or some of those
Ormond Beach.
Areas. Yeah.
Ormond, yeah.
And they're all very trained in those areas, and a lot of the times what you're looking for in Daytona you can find in Ormond, or you can find in New Smyrna.
Sure.
So I just wanted to add that quick little tidbit in there. So,
well, and to tie back to what you were saying, Karina, David Thornton just joined us, and he said, how long prior to points expiration must they be deposited with RTX?
How long prior to points expiration must they be deposited with RTX?
Yes.
So there's, with the points, we typically want you to deposit as soon as you know you're not going to use those with, those points that are going to expire. We want you to do it as soon as possible if you know you're not going to use those with, Festiva Adventure Club. But you definitely want to do it by at least the end of August, because there is a point that we have a cutoff of when we're able to take those points deposits. So the sooner the better. But definitely if, you're not going to be using them, you don't want them to expire. So go ahead and deposit them to RTX.
So I think I'll just ask David Thornton to reach out directly to Zach and talk a little bit more about his individual situation, because he may be close, based on his question, to some of his points being expired, and we'll certainly want him to get his value out of that. So David, reach out to Zach. Maybe he can help you directly, and give us a thumbs up if that works for you. All right.
You're going to get a lot of phone calls, Zach.
Yeah, you're going to be busy, Zach.
Job security. I like it.
Well, everybody wants to travel, so I think it's good for all of us to kind of stick around. So.
Oh, so here's I call this a boomerang question, and I usually get this when we referenced. So David Thornton came right back and he said, look, in December, there were some links to special offers such as local entertainment discounts. Now I can't find them. So do you think those, I'll just ask this for any of the gang there, was that a seasonal promotion? Do you all run different seasonal promotions? Obviously, I find myself in December starting to think about my next year's points and whatnot. And I do like local entertainment, especially in the areas that we're going to be, visiting. So is that something common that RTX does is post links into special offers and to local entertainment? Is that a frequent thing?
Yeah, so we've got this option. It's once you click into your account, it's called Lifestyles. Here, I'm going to switch the camera around just so you can see it.
Cool.
So right here, what we'll look at, say, for example, activities. And then what it'll do is, you can search. Give me an example, Greg. What would you like to see?
Well, let's talk about Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg?
Or Tennessee, or anywhere in Tennessee for that matter. Gatlinburg, Nashville.
Let's go with Gatlinburg.
Close area. Yeah.
What is today? How about this weekend? So, yeah, I guess with this weekend, it doesn't really populate too much, but here it just gave us something with Upper Pigeon Smoky Mountain River rafting at $43. I'm sure if we looked further out, I never really spent much time looking at that particular benefit, which
might be cold for river rafting.
You don't want to go in the river at 40 degrees?
We like ice river rafting. It's wonderful. I don't think that's what David had in mind, but he did come back again, and he did say that he's got about 10,000 points biannual that are going to be expiring in December of 19. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, as an FAC member, you definitely want to get a hold of RTX, David, and see where they can plug those points in so that you can get some great usage. And I love the question about the activities. I have not spent much time on the activities, but as you just heard me say,
check that out.
I love to do extra stuff. Yeah, there we go.
Right?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's like fun.
The Nashville Pub Crawl, Nashville Distillery Tour, Jack Daniel's Distillery.
Did you just type in my profile? Is that why all of those adult beverage?
I thought I was on my profile. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, those options are available. So I think Greg might be frozen.
Sorry, I just got a phone call right in the middle of a live event. Wow, that's crazy. But anyway, I love technology. Just some really, really cool stuff. And I'm glad you're showing members that because you really owe it to yourself to take a look at that website and explore deep into the things that it has. It's just amazing, some of the stuff that you guys put on there.
Yeah, I know that last week I mentioned I wasn't necessarily a real fond of this term, but it's very true. We are a one-stop shop. We've got all these things that you can search, even if you're not traveling, even if you just want to see some discounts for things that's going on in the city that you live in, then check out the site. If you want to get some gift cards, if you want to give a gift card as a graduation present, you've got some reward credits lined up, redeem them for that. It doesn't cost anything. They send you the gift cards via email, and then you just print it out or you save it to your phone. So there's a lot of neat things in addition to the exchange and travel piece that RTX has to offer. So, I highly recommend giving us a call, checking it out online, see what others are saying about us on Facebook. Give Zach a call. He gets awesome reviews on Facebook. Yeah, we just want to be another option. We want you all to consider using RTX. We are cost efficient membership, and it's just one of those things that we want to do for you guys.
So I'm looking at Beth, and we're going like this, and Beth is like, slow down the movement. Felt like I was dimensional there for a moment. Well, we covered a lot of ground today, just like we did last week. But is there anything that you all can think about that came up repeatedly last week that we might want to recover for the folks that are joining us on this live event?
No,
I know we're running a little bit low on time.
A lot of the questions that came in, we've already gone over. I liked that we were able to address some of the additional benefits, the cruises, the hotels, and then kind of give you a snapshot of what our website looks like. Are we missing anything that we need to cover, or what do you guys think?
It's a pretty broad overview of what RTX offers, I think. Any other questions coming in from the members? Last minute questions?
Well, I know we're running low on time. That's why I wanted to make sure that we circled back to some of those things that maybe we had missed. And it never fails, guys. We're getting emails right now, and we're going to continue to get emails after this event is over. Of course, we'll forward those over to you for direct response. And of course, we'll take a few questions that are not specifically exchange or rental use questions. But this has just been a great event. I'd love to be able to continue to participate with you all on this on a go-forward basis. I think that members get tremendous value out of being able to interact with you all one-on-one. They get to see you and us. And look, you got a high five there, Zach, from Samantha Weinkoff. I love that. I need to find that emoji. You know, when your clients become your biggest fans, you know, you could be a YouTube star before you know it.
Oh, watch out.
Well, guys.
Awesome. Well, I don't think we've got anything else to chat about. Greg, thanks again for joining in on us. And remember, we're gonna keep this going. We're gonna change up some of the content. We're going to introduce some resorts, bring in some fun, engaging things for you guys. And Greg, thanks for joining us as always. Zach, again, thanks for joining us on a whim there. And then, of course, Beth. Thanks, Beth. And, stay tuned for any next announcements. And I'll leave it at that, Greg, if you want to close it out. And then we will get your feedback. Hope to get your feedback.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you all soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.